Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and I am so excited that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me because today we are going to be doing a little bit of a part two where we talk about books that are on my radar. These are books that I can't exactly recommend to you because I haven't read them yet, but these are books that are on my TBR, books that I am looking to read. I don't know how soon I'm going to read them, but they sound interesting to me and I just feel like I need to know about them. So this is going to be kind of a part two in the sense that we are talking about my Libby TBR again. If you don't know, Libby is an online resource where you can check out ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, all from your library without actually having to go in. So yes, I use Libby religiously. I am so happy that I discovered Libby because I don't know what I would do without it. And so these are the books that I have saved on my Libby TBR that I'm hoping to put hold on and get access to in the next coming months. So grab a drink, grab a snack. Let's hop into this video and talk about some books. And just a note, I'm going to be looking off to the side because I'm going to be reading from my laptop. I do not know the synopsis of these books off the top of my head, and I don't want to tell you wrong. So we will be looking at the handy dandy laptop to make sure that I'm telling you about the right book. So the first book that I want to mention is Greenteeth by Molly O'Neill, and this is a cozy fantasy historical type situation. And it says that it's a tale of fae, folklore, and found family. And it's narrated by a charismatic lake-dwelling monster with a voice unlike any other. Beneath the still surface of a lake lurks a monster with needle-sharp teeth, hungry and ready to pounce. Jenny Greenteeth has never spoken to a human before, but when a witch is thrown into her lake, something makes Jenny decide she's worth saving. Temperance doesn't know why her village has suddenly turned against her, only that it has something to do with the malevolent new pastor. Though they have nothing in common, these two must band together on a magical quest to defeat the evil that threatens Jenny's lake and Temperance's family, as well as the very soul of Britain. And I have seen this cover, which I think is very interesting. And also, I think I saw Katie is reading, actually pick this up and read it, and it seemed like she enjoyed it. So, sounds interesting. Next up is Being Hospitable by Meka James. This is the first book in the Desert Rose Hookups. And this is a novella where we are following Kiki Jenkins, who knows that opening her home to her best friend's younger sister means giving up some solitude. What she doesn't expect is for her new roommate to become temptation in the form of novelty panties and flirty innuendos. But Charlie is off limits for several reasons. Charlie Graham wants to be seen as more than her brother's little sister, and she wants Kiki to do the seeing. Her new internship provides the perfect opportunity. Plan in motion, she's not going to let her close living quarters go to waste. The arrangement is supposed to be temporary, but as they grow closer, a permanent change of address might just be in order. And look, I haven't read a novella in a while, and I have been missing them. And what better way to jump back into the novellas than with a sapphic one, a little best friend's little sister situation. Here for it. Another sapphic book that has, caught my attention is Hungerstone by Dunn. I first saw this as one of the aardvark book choices, but I'm trying to be smart with my money this year and I'm testing things out from the library before I decide to buy them. If it's something that I'm unsure about, there are some auto-buy authors and titles that are just going to happen, but with the ones that I'm kind of iffy about, I'm going to the library first. And that way, we're doing double work. We're supporting the library and saving my pockets. So Hungerstone is set against the violent wilderness of the moors and the uncontrolled appetite of the Industrial Revolution. It's a compulsive feminist reworking of Carmilla, the book that inspired Dracula. We're following Lenore, who is the wife of steel magnate Henry, but 10 years into their marriage, the relationship has soured and no child has arrived to fill the distance growing between them. Henry's ambitions take them out of London and to the imposing Nethersaw Manor in the countryside, where Henry aims to host a hunt with society's finest. Lenore keeps a terrible secret from the last time her husband hunted, and though they never speak of it, it haunts their marriage to this day. The preparations for the event take a turn when a carriage accident near their remote home brings the mysterious Carmilla into Lenore's life. Carmilla, who is weak and pale during the day but vibrant at night. Carmilla, who stirs up a hunger deep within Lenore. Soon, girls from local villages begin to fall sick before being consumed by a bloody hunger. Torn between regaining her husband's affection and Carmilla's ever-growing presence, Lenore begins to unravel her past, and in doing so, uncovers a darkness in her household that will place her at a terrible risk. This sounds good. I'm into some vampy things, and I think that this will be more about using, like, there will actually be vampires, but I think it's more of like a metaphor for what Lenore wants out of life. So I'm here for that too. We have another cozy fantasy, and this is House of Frank by K. Synclaire. And this is a wonderful and hopeful story of a lonely witch consumed by grief who discovers a whimsical cast of characters and the healing power of found family. We have a powerless witch named Seka, who is ready to enact her sister's final wish to plant her remains at the famed Ash Gardens. But when Seka arrives at the always stormy sanctuary, she is welcomed by its owner, an enormous knit cardigan mythical beast named Frank, who offers her a role as one of the estate's caretakers. Overcome with grief, Seka accepts, desperate to put off her final farewell to her sister, but the work requires a witch with intrinsic power, and Seka has been disconnected from her magic since her sister's death 2 years prior. Seka gets by at the sanctuary using a fragment of a fallen star to cast enchantments while hiding the embarrassing truth about herself. As Seka works harder in avoidance of her pain, she learns more about Frank, the decaying house at Ash Gardens, and the lives of the motley staff, including bickering twin cherubs, a mute ghost, a cantankerous elf, and an irritating half-witch, among others. Over time, she rediscovers what it means to love and to be wholly loved, and how to allow her joy and grief to coexist. Warm and inventive, House of Frank is a stirring portrait of the ache of loss and the healing embrace of love. And I'm usually running from the more emotional reads because that's just me. But this one is pulling me, and I think I'm gonna pick it up soon. Next up is a queer fantasy called The Last Hour Between Worlds by Melissa Caruso. And this is the first book in the Echo Archives series. So this is a whip smart adventure fantasy packed with rival guilds, reality bending magic, and sapphic pining. In this, we will be following Kimbrel Thorne, who is spending a few hours away from her newborn, and she is determined to enjoy herself at this party no matter what. But when all the guests start dropping dead, Kim has no choice but to get to work. She is a hound after all, and she can't help picking up the scent of trouble. She's not the only one. Her professional and personal nemesis, notorious burglar Rika Nunsuch, is on the prowl. They quickly identify what's causing the mysterious grandfather clock that sends them down an echo every time it chimes. In each strange new layer of reality, time resets and a sinister figure appears to perform a blood-soaked ritual. As Kim and Rika fall into increasingly macabre versions of their city, they'll need to rely on their wits and each other to unravel the secret of the clock and save their home. So there's also a mystery element and a little sci-fi element as well to this. And so, it sounds like a mixture of things that I could like and something a little different for me. So, you know, it could be a hit. Next up is a romance called Unromance by Erin Connor. And in this, we follow Sawyer Green, who knows romance. She's a best selling author of the genre, or she was, until her college girlfriend left her with nothing but writer's block and bitterness. So when Sawyer gets stuck in an elevator with a handsome stranger, she sees it for what it is, not a meet cute, but a chance encounter with a charming man whom she will sleep with exactly once and go on her way. Easy enough until she runs into him again at a Christmas market straight out of a Hallmark holiday movie. And this sounds like it's going to be really cool. I love books about authors and bookish people. Next up, we have something that is a little different for me, but I keep seeing it and it just keeps like, I don't know, keeps tugging at me for whatever reason. So I'm taking that as a sign. It is a kind of cozy mystery thriller type situation, and it is called The Author's Guide to Murder, and it is by Beatriz Williams, Lauren Willig, and Karen White. This is a crafty locked room mystery, a pointed satire about the literary world, and a tale of unexpected friendship and romance. There has been a sensational murder at historic Castle Kinloch, a gothic fantasy of grey granite on a remote island in the Highlands of Scotland. Literary superstar Brett Saffron Presley has been found dead under bizarre circumstances in the Castle Towers bookline study. Years ago, Presley purchased the castle as a showpiece for his brand and to lure paying guests with a taste for writerly glamour. Now it seems the castle has done him in, or possibly one of the castle's guests has. Detective Chief Inspector Ian McIntosh, a local with no love for this literary American show off, or Americans in general, finds himself with the unenviable task of extracting statements from three American lady novelists. The prime suspects are Kat De Noir, a slinky, sexy erotica writer, Cassie Pringle, a Southern mom of six, juggling multiple cozy mystery series, and Emma Endicott, a New England blue blood and author of critically acclaimed historical fiction. The women claim to be friends, writing a book, a historical novel about the castle's lurid past and its debauched lord, who himself ended up creatively murdered. But the author's stories about how they know Brett Saffron Presley don't quite line up, and the detective is getting increasingly suspicious. Why did the authors really come to Castle Kinloch? Is the murder of the long ago Lord somehow connected with the Playboy author's unfortunate demise? And what really happened the night when Brett Saffron Presley skipped the folk dancing for a rendezvous with death? So this sounds like it's going to be a mind game and maybe hopefully similar to the humor of everyone in my family has murdered someone. And what's going to trip me up about this is that these three authors are writing a book about three authors writing a book. So it's very meta, and it just sounds like it'll be entertaining in the least. So we'll see. Moving on to a YA romantasy called The Beast We Bury by D.L. Taylor. This is the first book in the Broken Citadel series. And this is about an heir to the throne who can summon an army of animals and a thief who plans to manipulate her to pull off a once-in-a-lifetime heist. So we follow daughter and heir to the throne, Mancilla Cliff, who yearns for a life without bloodshed. But as a child, she emerged from the broken citadel with the power to summon animals, only after killing them with her bare hands. Her magic is a constant reminder of the horrors her father, the ruler of the realm, has forced upon her to strengthen their power. Silver is a charming thief struggling to survive in a world torn apart by Mancella's father's reign. When a mysterious benefactor recruits him for the heist of a lifetime, a chance to rob the castle, Silver relishes the opportunity for a real future and revenge. But he'll have to manipulate Mance and earn her trust to pull it off. As the deception and carnage mount, Mance must find a way to save her realm without becoming the ruthless monster she's been bred to be. And when Silver discovers that his actions are fueling the violence that Mance wants to prevent, he'll have to choose between his ambitions and the girl that he is falling for. Yeah, yeah. We have another YA, but this is a historical fantasy mystery mix, and it's called The Queen's Spade by Sarah Raughley. And this is a historical thriller that's loosely inspired by real life events. The Count of Monte Cristo meets Bridgerton as revenge, romance, and twisted secrets take center stage in Victorian England's royal court when Sally, a kidnapped African princess and goddaughter to Queen Victoria, plots her way to take down the monarchy that stole her from her homeland. What do you mean? What do you mean? This sounds wild in the best way, and I'm very curious because I hadn't really heard of Sarah Forbes Bonetta before, and this is loosely inspired by her story. She happened to be Queen Victoria's African goddaughter, and I need to know more. I need to know more. The last YA on this list is a fantasy romance that has been floating around, and I'm just very curious about it, and I need to know. And that is The Rose Bargain by Sarah Peyton Smith. And this is going to be the start of a duology. And it says every citizen of England is granted one bargain from their immortal Fae Queen. High society girls are expected to bargain for qualities that will win them suitors, a rare talent for piano in exchange for one's happiest childhood memory, a perfect smile for one's ability to taste. But Ivy Benton's debut season arrives with a shocking twist, a competition to secure the heart of the Queen's Fae son, Prince Brown, a prize that could save Ivy's family from ruin and free her sister from the bargain that destroyed her. Yet every glittering Fae deal has a rotting heart, and at the center of this contest is a dark plot that could destroy everything Ivy knows. And this, I think, is a love triangle as well, and it sounds good. I haven't heard a bad thing about it, so I feel like I need to give it a shot. Moving on to a literary fiction, we have Fundamentally, and this is by Nussaibah Younis. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And this is a wickedly funny and audacious debut novel following an academic who flees from heartbreak and lands in Iraq with one-of-a-kind job offer, only to be forced to do the work of confronting herself. So, in this, we follow Nadia Amin, who is a witty and big hearted PhD. She publishes an article on de radicalization, and everything changes. The United Nations come calling with an opportunity to put her theory into practice and lead a rehabilitation program for women caught in the crosshairs of harmful ideology. And why not? Abandoned by her mother and devastated by unrequited love, she leaps at the chance. In Iraq, Nadia quickly realizes she is over her head. The UN is a mess of competing interests, and her team consists of goody two-shoes Sherry, who never passes up an opportunity to remind Nadia of her objections, and Pierre, a snippy Frenchman who has no qualms about perpetually scrolling through Grindr. But then Nadia meets Sarah, a hilarious foul-mouthed East Londoner who was pulled into radicalism at just 15. The two are kindred spirits, and Nadia vows to get Sarah home. As the rehabilitation program picks up traction, Sarah reveals a secret that upends everything, forcing Nadia to make a drastic choice. In the fallout, Nadia's brown savior fantasies crumble, leaving her to wonder if she can save someone who doesn't want to be saved. And this sounds so very interesting. I got my master's degree in basically nonprofit administration, so I spent a lot of time learning how nonprofits work and, like social entrepreneurship and things like that. And so this is going to be very interesting to see the how, the conversations around this and, people who go into careers wanting to help other people but realizing it's not as simple as we may want it to be or that we think it is. I just think it's going to be interesting all around and something that I will enjoy. Lastly, we have a romance, and this is the 710 Split by Karmen Lee. It's the first book in the Peach Blossom series, and I think by the end of 2025 we'll have maybe 3 or 4 books in this series. So I want to go ahead and get started, and I want to make sure that it's something that I'll like before I go buy them all. So this is a sapphic romance where we follow teacher Ava Williams, who some subjects are not up for debate, like history, specifically the one she has with Grace Jones, bowling pro and local celeb, who is now, for no identifiable reason, teaching at the same small town Georgia high school as Ava. Once upon a time, they were thick as thieves, best friends, rivals who pushed each other, and total bowling nerds. Then they shared a kiss, sweet and confusing, and after that they split and nothing was ever the same. Ava is pretty sure that she has every reason to hate Grace, especially when the school's soggy potato of a principal announces finally that the students can have the bowling team Ava has been pushing for years, only to hand it to Grace. Now they're expected to be partners and lead their new bowling team to victory in 6 months. And with that, their rivalry is back. Fierce, ultra competitive, and with an undeniable attraction that pushes, pulls, and crashes together. It's history, it's chemistry, and it's just a matter of time before it explodes, one way or the other. And so I love a competitive couple. Like, that's my thing because I'm a very competitive person myself. So I think this is going to be really cute. Also, like, how many romances do we get about bowling? And then for it to be a black romance, and then for it to be a black sapphic romance, like, yeah, we gotta make it happen. We gotta make it happen, right? So anyway, all of that being said, those are the books that are currently on my Libby TBR. Let me know if you read any of these, what you thought about them, or if any of these are on your radar as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, anything that you do to support me and my channel. It is very much appreciated. I hope that you have the best day that you possibly can. Remember to take care of yourself. And you know what? I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.